Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series, I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading Words of Radiance for the first time. Each episode we will discuss the chapter and share our experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, Words of Radiance, and today we discuss Chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
Yes. Now, before we even get into the chapter, I wanted to quickly chat about two things that I had intended to talk about in the last chapter, but think I forgot to mention. There was a line, Dalinar, on thinking about Navani. She worked so hard to bring Fabrials to them all, which, as I recall, was a reasonably sweet line for both of them. I will complain a little bit in a moment about the Navananar of it. It's nothing I haven't said before. But I did think that that was a sweet line, and also, do Fabrials work on Stormlight? I think they do, and it will be devastating for Navani personally to learn, given what we know of her character, especially from her POV in the first book, to learn that these Fabrials she has pushed so hard to get everywhere, ending up being a tool used against them. That would be pretty devastating.
Yeah, poor her.
Yeah.
But then it's just Fabrial warfare.
Yeah, indeed. And then we kind of glossed over the Navananar of it in the last chapter, but something I wanted to say then is, do you feel as if Sanderson over-relies on loving, witty, sarcastic banter to communicate affection between characters?
Yeah, it's not the only way that people show love. But it seems like because it's something that he's really good at, he uses it a lot, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think he uses wittiness to show intelligence in his characters.
True.
So he's going to have a lot of wit involved to show anything character-wise.
Yeah, that makes sense. It occurs to me that my favorite Navananar moments are the ones where they are actually emotionally honest with each other. And it's not so much Sanderson telling us they're being emotionally honest with each other, which I think he did at one point. And it's not so much with the loving, witty banter. It is those moments of genuine honesty that aren't forced that make me actually do like them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the contrast needs to be there. That's what makes those hit us so hard, I think. Or, harder than the wittiness. There needs to be that contrast where they drop that flirt and it becomes serious. That's where it puts them into perspective. So I like it.
Yeah. So we'll see how their relationship goes moving forward. And now the epigraph for chapter 5, yeah? The sign on the wall proposed a greater danger even than its deadline. To foresee the future is of the Voidbringers. From the Journal of Navani Kholin, Yesasez 1174. So it's not enough that there's a deadline, it's that the deadline was created using dark magic.
Yeah, it's a sign of bad juju happening.
Now, look, I know it's bad juju. You know it's bad juju. But there is the sarcastic part of me thinking to myself, but what if it's not predicting the future? What if it's just a threat? Going to be like, yeah, I'm going to come after you in 30 some odd days. That's not prophecy.
Yeah, that's just a promise.
Yeah. But no, I think we are both in agreement that this is the mystical nature coming Everstorm thing. It's not the first time in relation to magics that we get the phrase of the, which is noteworthy. And I don't think I have much else to say on the epigraph here.
Yeah, it's still referring to the message on the walls. So,
yep. So this chapter is actually quite lengthy, but the short of it is the announcement goes out. Kaladin goes to replace the folks who are currently guarding Dalinar at that moment. He ends up essentially sitting in on a pretty intense meeting in which Dalinar outlines his plans for the High Princes and the war on the Shattered Plains. Yeah?
and then the big thing, the fact that he says he reveals to everyone that he's going to refound the Knights Radiant.
Yes, which I'm glad he said it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that when we get to it as we go through it, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with the town crier, and Kaladin has made this woman repeat the thing 4 times. Under the authority of the king, Dalinar Kholin, High Prince of War, hereby orders changes to the manner of collection and distribution of gem hearts on the Shattered Plains. Henceforth, each gem heart will be collected in turn by 2 High Princes working in tandem. The spoils become the property of the king, who will determine, based on the effectiveness of the parties involved and their alacrity to obey, their share. A prescribed rotation will detail which High Princes and armies are responsible for hunting gem hearts and in what order. The pairings will not always be the same and will be judged based on strategic compatibility. It is expected that, by the codes we all hold dear, the men and women of these armies will welcome this renewed focus on victory and at long last, vengeance. That's a doozy.
Mm. Look, he did mention the vengeance and victory at the end, but I think, the High Princes are going to be more angry about what came before that.
Very much so. So, from the last book, we already knew that he was going to essentially institute this policy of the gem hearts are brought to the king and then he distributes them.
Yeah.
What was unexpected or new to us, I think, was prescribed rotation. He's basically going to take what he did with himself and Sadeas and organize the High Princes into forced versions of that. That, I think, is a fairly, if he can get them to go along with it, I think a good teamwork exercise.
Yeah.
In a little bit, I think it's Rock who has a jab about the line, "It's expected that by the codes we all hold dear," basically saying that's an insult to the High Princes.
They don't hold that dear at all.
Yeah. It's more than I expected out of the proclamation in a very good way. I'm like, yes, I'm energized about this plan.
Yes, and it's going to have real effects. I want to see those effects, see how these High Princes react to it, and whether some of them are actually improved, whether anyone becomes a bit of a standout.
Yeah. If Dalinar is smart in his politicking, and if the High Princes do test the waters with this system until they get all of their rebellious plans in order, Dalinar would be wise to consider who he's pairing up with whom. Not just based on their capability, but on temperament and willingness to go along, which he more or less said he would take into account.
Yeah, he's got to do a lot of politicking now, a lot of thinking about undercurrents and things like that. What is he going to force? What is he going to let lie? Yeah, it's a big undertaking, but somebody's got to do it.
Yep. Kaladin, reflecting on the threat of the timer, thinks to himself, how am I supposed to do my job if I don't have the information I need? And he comes to this conclusion that it's some of the politicking, in part because Dalinar doesn't seem to be treating it with the alarm that Kaladin would expect.
Well, he's not worried enough, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what? I've explained it in a weird way. Essentially, the line is, Kaladin felt a fool. Dalinar, however, seemed to be ignoring the break-in entirely. He knew more than he was telling Kaladin. Then he has the thought, and then we get the line, already the politics and machinations of the Light Eyes were tripping him up. So yeah, I explained it in sort of a weird way, but what?
Yeah, the politicking and everything does trickle down to the smaller guy who's trying to just get by and to keep the guy safe.
Yep. Leighton and Rock are discussing it. Rock thinks there's going to be riots, which there may well be.
Yeah, and some of them more unruly camps.
Mm-hmm. Kaladin takes Moash, Drehy, Martin F., and along with them goes Teft and Sigzil, just for a brief chat as they walk and talk. Teft is basically saying, this is a tough job. It's not going well. It's not terrible, but it's not going well. And Kaladin promises to think of something to get the team building up. And I think by the end of the chapter, that's answered. He's going to send them on patrols, yeah?
Yeah. That's Teft's job of, trying to build morale and build camaraderie between them, and give them hope, all of that stuff. That's the job that you're talking about there.
Yeah. He instructs Rock to go get as much food as he can, overstock the pantries, essentially. For the next month, Bridge 4 eats like kings. And this is his first instinct for how to get the rest of the 1,000 men to come out of their stupor as well.
Feed him. Yeah, feed him.
Not a bad plan. I do have the slightest of concerns. What if they think this feasting becomes the norm? But I don't think anything will come of that concern. It's not one I'm actually worried about,
Yeah, and while they can, they should.
Yeah. But it does sound like Bridge 4 itself will be eating the best of them. We do get some fun banter between Mart and Rock about how Rock is going to cook 2 meals, one for the brave and one for the silly. Brave getting to eat his horn-eater stew with shells in it.
I don't know. I think I might not be brave enough. I guess I'll try something once.
I like to try most things at least once. Dabbit and Shen are going to be assisted to help Rock. And Lopin, I think, as well. And then Shen actually goes up for a second helping of food. And we get the line, he'd only just started doing things like that and seemed to hide in the back less than he once had. So Shen is getting personality.
Yes. He's developing individuality.
Yeah.
Quirks.
Yes, and there are so many questions that I have there. Is his music back? Is it that he's being treated like an equal? Are all of the Parshmen suddenly coming to, so to speak?
Yeah, is it just him or is it all of them?
Right. Is it something the Parshendi have done in between the end of the last book and now? Or is it something to do with Kaladin and his radiance from the last book?
Oh, his radiance. I thought it just is even his just approach to Shen treating him a certain way.
Yeah. So what do you think of all of that?
I don't know what the answer is. They're very good questions.
Right. I am inclined to believe the music is not back yet. I feel like when that happens, it'll be this big climactic moment. I think it's honestly that it's just that they're treating him as an individual and an equal.
I hope so, because otherwise all the other Parshmen are waking up and we don't know what that's going to do.
Yeah. Then Sigzil approaches and asks when they'll be able to measure Kaladin's particular abilities. And it was my sense through this conversation that Kaladin didn't really want to do this, but my memory of the last chapter in Way of Kings was that he was comfortable and heart-warmed that the group wanted to help him learn these abilities. So it was a bit strange for me reading the reluctance here.
I think it's given, maybe he was heart-warmed there, but some time has passed and he's got more responsibilities on top of him. So this kind of shift to reluctance is like, I'm busy. Do we really have to do this? And like he even forgot what his response was. He's just reminded, oh, okay, fine. So he's just been busy.
Yeah, I suppose. But he says, okay, go find a place where we can do it, and in a couple of days we'll start doing it. Because Sigzil's like, Sigzil like guilts him into it. He's like, surely you would agree, Kaladin, that it would be wise for you to know your limits, right? Right?
I mean, it's true though.
Yeah.
You can't deny it.
Yep. They're walking through the camp, and there's still a bit of a subdued, empty feeling. I think he sees like a mother and some kids who are standing very quietly outside one of the barracks or something, and Kaladin thinks that children that small shouldn't be quiet. So it's still somber.
Yeah, because this camper is still reeling, essentially, from all the loss.
Mm-hmm. That's not going to go away anytime soon, I think.
Nope.
Or at least it shouldn't. If it does, I'll be slightly annoyed. Then, as they're walking, we get a conversation between Syl and Kaladin. Syl doesn't understand why Kaladin didn't laugh at some of the things Rock was saying earlier. Kaladin tries to explain that he's waiting for the other shoe to drop. He uses different novel metaphors for this book, which nice work there, Sanderson. I like your metaphors here. He's waiting for the thunder, which follows the lightning. But Syl's really trying to get him to be like, but things are better now, right? Right? I thought you'd be happy.
Yeah, like just realize where you're at right now before you carry on being dissatisfied.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. He doesn't want, whenever anything is going well, he's worried because it's like this won't last.
Yeah. Now, how much of that is realism versus how much of that is trauma versus how much of that is just general pessimism?
Equal parts.
Yes. Syl says, think of what you did. And we get the passage, a day spent on a plateau slaughtering, a perfect melding of himself, his weapon, and the storms themselves, and he'd killed with it, killed to protect a light eyes. He's different, Kaladin thought. They always said that. So Sanderson, I think, is doing a remarkable job still of him being conflicted over Dalinar. For my taste, this whole chapter taken into account, I think I would like Kaladin to be just a hair more vocally distrustful of Dalinar. Not to say Sanderson has none of that. He has a really great line in here, we'll cover it, about him not asking for permission to speak candidly, but I do think I would still like just a hair more of it. What do you think?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the level that it's at.
Sure. And to clarify, it's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for that passage, I'm like, that is so great. Kaladin explains to Syl, it's kind of like how you felt about encouraging me to fight to save Dalinar, but it still hurts you that I killed. I don't know if that's a one-to-one comparison to the waiting for the shoe to drop metaphor, but...
Yeah, me too.
I'm so glad I was not the only one. It kind of bothered me. But it's a step in the direction of, I think, explaining to Syl that life is nuanced, which may be hard for a being of pure honor to understand.
Yeah, you can feel two things at once. You can realize that, yes, things are better, but at the same time, you can be worried about how things aren't going to get worse or could could get worse from here.
Mm-hmm.
So that I got that point, but I was like, it's not exactly. The comparison is a little off.
Agreed. Would have been really nice if it was 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
Syl says, I remember something bad, seeing what is to come. It isn't of honor, Kaladin. It's something else, something dangerous. So, of honor suggests that while there are Voidbringers, devils, there are also angels. Honor.
Mm. Yeah, it's not of honor. So seeing the future, it calls back to the epigraph of seeing the future is of the Voidbringers. Mm-hmm. So here she's saying it's not of honor.
Right.
So, yeah, something bad. The fact that this, she agrees with with Navani.
Right. So if Surge Binding is of the Spren type, Kaladin's powers are of honor. We are supposed to believe Shallan's powers are of lies. And I think we are supposed to imagine that Yasna's powers are of truth. Although those last two, I think, are up for debate and wonder.
They're up in the air.
Yeah. Kaladin wonders why Syl still behaves like a wind spren and determines to ask her at some point.
Because she can.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? If you could fly and float in the wind, why wouldn't you? And maybe she's just a whimsical personality.
Yeah.
And then we get a Sadeas POV.
That was a surprise.
Very much so. I'm glad we got it. Can't say I was overly thrilled with it. Mm-hmm. It did strike me a bit super villainy. Not like super villainy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a bit, so that really is your motivation, huh? Okay.
The most interesting thing about Sadeas that I learned through this was essentially that he's having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's a lot to do with just the way he feels and what he wants to experience in life.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. Yeah. It's like his ego can't take it. So, which, I mean, people like that exist, that they do things based on, okay, this will make me feel a certain way. Maybe they don't realize that they're doing it. So he has the awareness in this POV. He actually has a lot of self-awareness, but he doesn't find it a problem.
Interesting.
Doesn't find it shallow.
Yeah. I think he has some moments of no self-awareness. Like, so much of what he says he wants to accomplish, conquering, would have been accomplished if he helped Dalinar in the last book. And then they actually won the war. No, he
wants it to be him, though. He wants it to be just him conquering. Like, that makes him feel alive. That's the main thing.
Yeah. God damn it. Sadeas is a coward. He says he wants this maximum thrill, yet he will not ride into battle.
No, because it's not about honor. It's about glory. Okay? Glory and honor don't need to go together for him.
Anyway, he's sitting at his table with the shard blade in the table. He has ruined the table.
Just so you can have a look.
Yep. And we get the line at the description of the shard blade. Like waves in motion peeking up from the ocean below. I thought of Shallan and her dip in the ocean. I think we had another ocean line in an earlier chapter, though I don't remember where explicitly. Actually, as I say that, I think it might have been the Dalinar's vision in the Pure Lake where he sees the face, and it made me think of the ocean. But again, I think Sanderson here is doing something very specific with invoking the ocean. Sadeas feels as if Dalinar somehow got the better of him. Good.
We might said good at the same time.
Yeah. And I think it's fair for both of us to say that Dalinar both did and didn't, in the sense that Dalinar doesn't know that he got a surge binder out of it.
Yeah. But he's just still got the better of him because he's still more honorable.
Exactly. He got the moral victory.
Mm-hmm. And Sadeas is like, this is not how this is supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won. I got what I wanted. How is getting what I wanted worse? And I love that. I love that it's not as, it's not just a perfect glory spren moment for him. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Did he just do something? What's he up to? Good.
Yeah. It speaks to a certain potential for paranoia.
And he should be paranoid because Dalinar is going to beat his ass somehow.
Hope so. His wife, Ela, comes in. Or Eli?
I've forgotten how it's pronounced.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's Ela.
Ela it is then. She's not the prettiest in the world, but she is the most dangerous one.
And that's very attractive to him.
Yes. And we get some neat physicality out of her, too. In public, she's perfectly poised, but she likes to lounge in private.
Yeah, so they've got a dynamic going on between the two of them.
Yep.
They like, he does call her love as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're committed to each other, it seems, in a very weird, unholy way.
Yeah.
Like,
they're a team.
They're a team. They're both ambitious together. What is our plan?
Indeed. Ela has planted some spies in Dalinar's camp. Not the soldiers, but the support staff. And that's smart. We get that she has the most impressive network of spies in the war camp. Most impressive indeed, since very, very few knew of it. So, first off, that you know of. Second off, how much is this a blind spot for the two of you? Are you overestimating your spies? And 3, is it anyone's surprise that there are spies in everyone's camp?
Yeah, this seems like something you should assume is happening.
Yeah. But no, I'm still prepared to bet it is a pretty decent network of spies.
Mm-hmm.
Sadeas wonders if the collapse of the kingdom is for the best. And he basically says he can't stand the Gemheart game anymore. And I'm just thinking, you ass, what do you think Dalinar was trying to do?
But again, it's because it's not his idea, okay?
Yeah, it's not how he would do it.
It must be him.
Yeah. He's got to be the one to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sadeas intends to speak with Aladar and Ruthar, so if those characters come in later, we know to be suspicious of them. And Sadeas is basically planning to fan the flames. Again, this is expected.
Yeah.
And then we get Sadeas wanting the conquest back. The thrill of being on the battlefield, domination, victory. I'm wondering at this point how Sadeas will feel about the desolation. I'm kind of wondering if he's gonna love it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you just get to fight. You get to conquer back because otherwise you get conquered.
Yeah. Fighting for survival.
Yeah.
I was thinking as I was contemplating this, it would be kind of neat if the tensions in the war camp are pretty much at an all-time high, if Sanderson weaves this really intricate web of infighting, only for all of it to have to be put aside the second the Everstorm comes.
That might be the thing that's the only thing that does unite them.
Yeah.
But I think even with that, there would still be people clinging on to politics and things like that because it's just the way things are. We see it in Mistborn. So, yeah, I think he would write a few characters that are going to ignore the Everstorm and still try and cling to their power games.
Yeah. And I'm just really, really wondering, what does the Everstorm look like? Again, in the visions, it didn't look like a giant cataclysm. The skies were not torn asunder. So, like, will anyone immediately know of the Everstorm coming outside of, like, maybe vague reports of rocks coming to life and attacking cities?
Yeah. I think we'll know it when it comes, but it won't. It'll be we'll know it. Okay, so it'll be like a gradual. Oh, we see the signs, but then there'll have to be a breaking point for the normies, I suppose,
Sure.
where they go. They can't ignore it anymore. Yeah,
right. We get Sadeas saying Dalinar's always wanted to be his brother, and I'm like, man, you do not know Dalinar at all. Then again, we've only known Dalinar since he changed, so...
He might have been like that before his brother's death.
Yep. And then we get Sadeas's ambition of conquering the kingdom and Yakaved, and this is what God wants him to do.
Sure. Okay. Train soldiers and... yeah. Okay.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
We switch back to Kaladin's POV. We get him thinking about his father as he watches the surgeons and the doctors gathering knobweed sap. Now, I thought the knobweed sap thing was a close-kept secret of the main marketplace apothecaries. I mean, I guess it makes sense that surgeons would know, but there was that conflicting expectation, not expectation, but understanding from the last book when I read that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an oversight or maybe, okay, well, we can just explain it away by being like, it's different over here.
In Dalinar's camp, yeah.
Yeah.
Kaladin estimates that Lirin would have said, well, why didn't you have your bridgemen sign up to be doctors' assistants, nurses, and so on? And Kaladin reflects on why he's putting his men in danger again. I do think that there's something magical, I guess, about Kaladin. I mean, a sort of hand of God, like chosen one type thing that in part is guiding these decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of like Taviran.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well said. Destiny. They walk up some stairs, and apparently Kaladin had again sucked in stormlight without realizing it. And I think to myself, yeah, this is going to be a problem.
You keep making my spheres done. God damn it. Stop it. But yeah, is there going to be a moment where he pulls too much in and begins to glow by mistake? Doesn't realize it?
It's going to be something like that, or it's going to be something like in Warbreaker, where it's like, if you're breathless, you can't be detected. So if he's sucking in stormlight, Zeth is going to like home in on him like a beacon. Type situation. Kaladin and the guards are confronted with some of the Kingsguard. This is one of a handful of times in this chapter where we get Kaladin basically not being sure what takes priority, his Dark Eyes status or his captain's status. So I'm looking forward to that being explored more in this book.
Yeah, I like the distinction that he made in his head. It was like socially, he is beneath this person, but militarily, he is actually equal or whatever. So I like that there was that thought process.
Agreed. The guard asks Kaladin how he saved the day, and Moash snaps at him. The guard is kind of rude, by the way, about it, in my reading of it. And Kaladin hushes Moash. Kaladin waits for the guard to say, sir, and then they continue on. So I'm glad that Kaladin waited. To me, that means he won the exchange.
Yeah, he's got to keep doing that.
Agreed.
Don't let it slip.
Agreed. It would have been very bad, I think, for him reputationally if he didn't. So Moash complains about being cut off, and Kaladin explains, you're a soldier now, you have to behave like a soldier. Now, granted, the soldiers at Sadeas's they saw were all dicks, but Kaladin expects more of them. And Kaladin, we get the great line, now they had to learn how to act without Sadeas's oppression to push against. I really liked that line tremendously.
Yeah. Great awareness for what they're going through.
Very much so. And Moash does apologize. He won't respect them, but he'll be more than they expect. Better than they expect.
Good, Moash.
Yeah. And Kaladin thinks of Moash essentially as the closest thing he has to a friend.
What about Syl?
Oh, yeah.
Syl's the best friend.
Yeah. I think I would like a bit more of Kaladin and Moash being friends to expand on this, because I read that line and I was like, really? I know that Moash was kind of adversarial and now treats him like an equal, but I never really got friends before now, including now.
Didn't we also get the thing that he doesn't, this is Moash, he doesn't like others, he wants others to call him sir and things like that, but then when it comes to Moash, there's a difference. He actually prefers, he doesn't feel right about it. So that's who he was talking about in the previous book. I think it was Moash.
Yeah.
So we've got precedent for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically the line was, who was as close to a real friend. So technically not. So yeah, I guess that also kind of counters it. But Kaladin makes it into the room with Navani, Dalinar, and Elhokar. So first off, let me say, the performance of Elhokar in this chapter on the audiobook was like 11 out of 10. So whiny.
So whiny.
Like, it forever diminishes Elhokar in my eyes.
Nasal, whiny. Yeah.
Yeah. Kaladin has Moash go check the balcony, which I guess runs in sort of a circle around the room. Dalinar's like, there's no other way onto the balcony. And Kaladin responds with, then that's the way I'd try to get in if I wanted to, sir. Which, first off, great response. Second off, Dalinar doesn't know, but Szeth and Kaladin both do, that there is a way to get up there. Surge binding.
Yeah. Yes.
So, very good. So good, in fact, that Elhokar approves.
But that's just because he's so paranoid.
Yes, and we'll get...
I like this one.
Oh, we'll get into that line in a few moments. There's one more exchange before that, though, in which Kaladin asks about secret entrances, and the king says, if there were, I wouldn't tell ya. And Kaladin's like, that would make them suspect. I need to know. If you tell me, I won't share it with anyone but my immediate officers. And we never get an answer as to whether or not there are secret entrances and exits here. But that's when we get, I like this one. Again, it's not Sanderson's fault. It's Marvel's fault that I am so sick of the I like this one line. It is cliche. It is a shortcut to telling us how we should feel about a character, I think. So I rolled. It's not...
Yeah, we don't need... Yeah, but then again, I like this one can also demonstrate how he thinks so little of Kaladin, because you can just call him that one. Just calling someone that one. This one is it's pretty demeaning. Like, I know I do it as an insult. So, yeah, look at this one, yeah. Look at him. Like that kind of thing. So maybe that you could add that to what the purpose of that line is. But, you know, the idea of him liking Kaladin can be communicated with, an eyebrow raise or
a nod of approval.
A look. Yes, a look of approval, something like that. Yeah. So maybe it's just the kind of backhandedness of it, where it's like, I like this one. Like, excuse, I have a name, and I'm here right in front of you.
I will say textually, the like is italicized, so it's I like this one.
Yeah, good. It would be I like this one, yeah, rather than I like this one.
Exactly. Dalinar cautions Kaladin that the king is perhaps paranoid. We do get the fun exchange where Kaladin's like, I've found healthy paranoia to be okay, and Dalinar's like, I didn't say healthy. And this is where we get the exchange where Dalinar's like, you're not calling me Bright Lord. You kind of should be. And Kaladin says, speaking frankly, Kaladin said he wouldn't ask for permission, which is great. I'm glad he doesn't ask for permission. Then he goes on to explain that he holds Sir in higher regard than Bright Lord. Cool?
Yeah, because he's called. He explains he's called Bright Lords by their names and not. Yeah.
Every Bright Lord has betrayed him, so he doesn't like the term. He'll use it if he's commanded to, though.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just like, look, I'm explaining to you why I'm using a certain form of address. I'm saying to you, it's not a show of disrespect. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to still impose your will on me or not? It's kind of, I think it's a challenge and a test for the Dalinar. How is he going to respond? And he's like, okay, fair enough. He's not going to stick on it.
Yep. And Dalinar kind of accepts it.
He says he's odd, and then Kaladin's like, yeah, all the normal ones are at the bottom of the chasm.
Yeah.
So,
yep. He instructs Kaladin of who's to be let in for the meeting, and Kaladin thinks to himself he's going to have to teach the group what the general protocol is for who to let in and when. And we get the really great line, Light Eyes never truly meant don't let anyone else in. When they said don't let anyone else in, what they meant was, if you let anyone else in, I'd better agree that it was important enough or you're in trouble. I laughed out loud. Adolin shows up, Renarin shows up, Call and his wife show up. Kaladin has to remind himself that Adolin saved that woman in the market.
Yeah. It's like because he looks like quite a spoiled brat. Like, but he still has some good in him.
Yep. So Kaladin is checking himself, but there is dislike there.
Both ways.
Very much so. In fact, Adolin basically immediately says, shouldn't that one wait outside?
That one again?
Yep.
Like, not even shouldn't he wait outside? That's even disrespectful as well. Shouldn't Captain Kaladin wait outside? No, we would not do that. So the dislike is showing.
Yeah, and it's like Adolin pulls Dalinar aside and like faux whispers loud enough for Kaladin to hear, we don't even know him. And Dalinar does not faux whisper back. He just speaks normally. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a great admonition of his son by speaking. It's subtle. I don't need to say, oh, don't do that, Adolin. No, instead he just speaks normally. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yep. And throughout all of this, Dalinar is looking at Kaladin with strange eyes, which causes Kaladin to worry that Dalinar saw him glow.
Like they're too knowing. These eyes are too knowing.
Yep. In Kaladin's perception, Adolin throws a little fit here when he throws up his hands and walks away. So, yeah, Kaladin thinks he's spoiled.
He's not wrong.
Yep. The High Princes are irate, and Hatham was said, quoted, see that the king is dissuaded from the reckless and ill-advised course. In a public announcement. Again, expected.
Yeah.
So we've got Aladar, Ruthar, and Hatham to be wary of. You were going to say something?
I just said, no, it's kicking off. The effects are taking place, so it's a good time to be having this meeting.
Very much so. Apparently, Dalinar had intended to demand that all of the High Princes follow the codes as well, but backed out of that. Elhokar, I think rightfully thinks that it was wise not to do that. And Dalinar is still on the fence, but I'm with Elhokar on this one.
Yeah, it would have been too much all at once. But he still says it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But gotta get them used to the new normal first before you push them even that much farther.
Even further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dalinar makes a metaphor about pulling an arrow out of oneself, which Kaladin thinks, no, you don't do that. Medically speaking.
And he even thinks, it's like he thinks of responding and explaining, and he's like, oh no, better to leave it as is and not question it. Yes, well done.
Yep.
Just let the person do. It's in the manner of speaking, Kaladin.
Yep. As Elhokar is weakly and meekly fretting about everything that's happening, Kaladin raises an eyebrow, and Syl, who is a cluster of leaves, makes a mouth and wonders if Kaladin disagrees. And Kaladin whispers back. And my first thing to think was, oh, I hope no one hears him.
And yeah, this like, you're going to look a bit crazy.
Yep. And then I'm going to think, oh, but what if Dalinar hears him? Meaning Dalinar has seen someone speak to no one. But of course, that's not going to happen in this chapter. It would be that he looks crazy. Anyway, he explains to Syl, I just didn't think the king would be so whiny. The relationship between Elhokar and Dalinar is going to be a big, big thing for Kaladin, especially considering how kingly Dalinar is, and Kaladin's presupposition that it is common and terrible of bright lords to usurp power dishonorably.
He did seem to expect a lot more from Elhokar, and then was like, wow, so it's really, really bad.
Yeah. There are a lot of really wonderful lines. I'm not going to go into each and every one in this chapter, but there's talk about the difference between what Alethkar was and what Alethkar is now. Dalinar at one point says, the Everstorm comes. And I'm like, you didn't even like mutter that. You just said that to everyone. And no one except the king says anything. And all that Elhokar says is, what?
And he's like, yeah, okay, well, let's just keep going. And isn't that just as he eventually he gets to the point of the radiance, but that's later.
Yeah. But we are getting close. Dalinar is going glass cannon on this, meaning he will either save the kingdom or destroy it in the process. Kaladin compares Dalinar to Amaram, to Syl, and I'm not sure it's a one-to-one comparison, but over time I think Kaladin will get to know Elhokar's temperament, so...
Yeah, he's just whiny.
Yep.
Just, I want to stay safe and comfy. Yeah. Not so much ambition.
Yeah, and the other thing is Elhokar's going along with it. So it seems.
Yeah, good for him. Because he's been beaten into it.
Yeah. And we'll get to that line in 2 seconds. Elhokar demands to know what the plan is, and Dalinar starts by basically saying, I'd love to beat the lot of them senseless. That's what I would do to new recruits. And Elhokar has the line, I think you'll have a hard time spanking obedience into the High Prince's uncle. I laughed out loud at that line.
Because that's what he's done, and also just the imagery.
Yeah. Now, that said, we get to the next line. For some reason, he absently rubbed at his chest. And that, specifically the phrase, for some reason, felt a little too winky at me.
Like, look. Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish it had just been the king said dryly, rubbing his chest, or the king said dryly, he rubbed at his chest absently.
Yes.
The for some reason was just too much for me.
Too on the nose. Yeah, I agree. You don't need that.
Yeah. Kaladin speaks up and says that they need to disarm them. And everyone turns to stare at him, which I found humorous.
He found himself saying that. Like, he didn't think, he just spoke.
Yeah. Fortunately, Dalinar is open to this inclusion, which is great. And Kaladin's like, so the first thing I would do is separate my soldiers into better squads, which Dalinar's like, that's great, but we can't exactly do that under these circumstances with these Bright Lords.
Because they're all shit.
Yep. And then Kaladin's like, okay, well, the next thing I would do would be to take away their weapons and make them feel like they are recruits again. That essentially is what Dalinar's plan is. And I think it's great that there's that bit of synergy between the two of them.
Yeah. I like that Kaladin's idea was, oh, can you take away their troops? Like, he thought of that. He didn't think, or he didn't suggest the shard or anything like that. It would have been too much synergy. It would be better. I like the idea that it was different types of arming and disarming they were talking about.
Right. So Navani pipes in with this, considering we can't actually do that, the best thing we can do is make them think we can do that, and will do that. Which, yeah, I guess if perception's all you have, you better set it. And that actually kind of plays into what Yasna was talking about perception in the first chapter, I think it was.
Yeah, it's that make people think that you have a certain amount of power over them. You have that power then.
Yeah. So that's a neat little thread there. Dalinar wants them to be mad because he can deal with soldiers, and he can deal with mad soldiers, and he can reason with soldiers. So the plan is to let Adolin duel, presumably with shard blades on the line. And I think that's a good but dangerous plan. Navani's on the fence about it, understandably so.
Yes.
If Adolin were a more questionable duelist, I would be nervous, but I think it's a good plan for now. What do you think?
There's always a possibility that he loses, okay? But now it is a way of getting what they need, getting them disarmed. And of course, Adolin's a bit cocky about it. You know, it's just like it's a foregone conclusion that he's just going to beat everybody, which I don't know. Okay, maybe he is just that good. Maybe he needs some training from Kaladin.
Well,
I don't think that'll happen.
Well, on the topic of duels and Kaladin, I don't remember if I've said it in a past episode or not, but what if we get an Adolin versus Amaram duel and Kaladin sucks in Amaram's blade light? Or what if something happens such that Kaladin has to stand in for Adolin in a duel? And maybe that's how his surge binding becomes known to the world.
Yeah, I don't think that happens. Because I don't see how circumstances would ever make him stand in for a duel. Like maybe on the battlefield somehow. But on a duel, nah. It's too courtly, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
It's
perhaps.
too of the light eyes.
Kaladin is untrained as a duelist, but not so as a soldier. So, because it's my understanding duels are like sports rather than soldier fights. But yeah, I would be very interested in seeing an Amaram duel.
Oh, yeah.
We get that there are 30 shard bearers in the army, not including Dalinar's house. Adolin is very confident, which Kaladin then has the thought, so he's spoiled and cocky. Great.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with these two.
Yep. Then Dalinar basically says the rest of our plan is to be politicking and winning over Bright Lords to our side, ones who can really see the benefits of a truly united Alethkar.
Those seem to be few and far between, but be interesting to meet them.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see who would be willing to side with them. Surely there must be some other men of honor in Alethkar.
Just some of them, yeah.
Yep. Although this side of the planning, in terms of what is spelled out to us, is a bit lackluster. We don't get too much of, like, oh yeah, High Prince Bob could be swayed to our side, and let's not forget about, and so on. You know what I mean? Like, we have all of this dueling plans, and what can we do? But when it comes to the actual politicking, we don't get too many plans. Which is fine. I'm not complaining. I'm just noticing it. Elhokar is worried about assassins. He thinks that it'll take time for Alethkar to shatter, and the High Princes will send assassins not just at Elhokar and Dalinar, but at Navani and Adolin and Renarin as well. And Dalinar hesitates at this. In fact, his line is, I hadn't. But yes, that is how they think. And I think he has a line later where he basically says, I didn't think of that. And I'm like, really, Dalinar? You didn't think of that? All of your ruminating, all of your planning, you didn't think that they would send an assassin after Adolin? Come on.
Maybe he was thinking of Navani. He was thinking, no, they won't harm a woman. It's fine. So maybe he doesn't want to think that they would do that. But that is how they think. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be a blind spot, but I'm still skeptical. Elhokar wants to know what the end game is, and we get that great line, I'm going to refound the Knights Radiant, which everyone freaks out about.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to refound the SS, like, let's go. Yeah, that's kind of how they view it.
Yeah, but Dalinar tries to explain to them, look, yes, they did fall, but before that, they stood for something. They had to fall from something.
Yeah, and we need them, so get over yourselves.
Yeah, and I thought it was fairly good logic.
Mm-hmm.
Elhokar asks what the point is, and Dalinar just simply says, it is what I must do.
Doesn't Adolin say, like, well, you can't just go around and just claim people are knights. They actually had powers and things, so I don't know how, which is a valid point. I don't know how you're going to do this.
Yeah, least of all in 60 some odd days.
Mm-hmm.
We get the new exclamation, Ishar's soul.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. Dalinar talks about how the Radiants were not about what they could do, but about an ideal that they're lacking. It doesn't matter if they can't surge bind. They still need to emulate the Radiants in other ways. And I'm glad that Kaladin hears that.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa.
Yeah, and just imagine if Kaladin surge bind right then and there. Like, that would give that group so much more confidence.
Yeah.
But no, don't do that, Kaladin, at least not yet. But again, Kaladin's like, wait, so does Dalinar know about me or not? I can't tell.
Yeah, and he remembers his ideals. And he's going to remember more words of Radiance, I suppose.
Yes.
Roll credits, yeah.
Hey! Yeah, so the meeting ends, and Kaladin thinks the Knights did have ideals, and they called them that very thing, the 5 ideals, the immortal words. Kaladin knew the first, and he unlocked the second ideal of the Windrunners. And that made me wonder, because we've been wondering about what Kaladin's second power is, and we did have that windrunning dream in the first book. So are his powers lashing and windrunning, do you think?
That'd be cool. And makes sense that his spren is wind-like.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's a great connection back to Kaladin wondering earlier about that. Oh, it works. We get the passage. Syl wouldn't tell him the other three. She said he would know them when he needed to, or he wouldn't and would not progress. Then he wonders if he wants to progress. And he thinks that before he had just wanted to survive. And I read that and I'm like, nah, there are many ways you could have just survived. You wanted to save everyone, Kaladin.
Yeah, that's the core of him.
Yeah. So Dalinar approaches Kaladin and wants more soldiers to protect everyone, not just him. And Kaladin's like, I've only got so many people. It takes time to train the rest of the bridgemen. We get the line, your force isn't the only one stretched thin in this war camp, soldier. So did you take that line as Dalinar chastising Kaladin or exhibiting a moment of camaraderie? I couldn't quite tell.
I did not take it as chastisement.
Okay, cool. I would imagine Dalinar would be somewhat understanding on this point. Like, there are only so many people that Kaladin has, and now he's asking him to protect way more.
Yeah, I think it was more of sharing the details, finding a solution together, that sort of thing, not telling him like, well, damn, man, I can't help you out here.
Yeah. Kaladin realizes how seriously Dalinar is taking the 60-day threat. Dalinar basically tells Kaladin that he wants to slowly phase out the current Kingsguard with bridgemen, Bridge 4 and the bridge crews.
And I think he's right with the way he's thinking. He's like, well, I can be sure that none of your guys are Sadius's men. So yes, that's really a good idea.
Yes, I think that is very smart. We had that line in a previous chapter, wondering how long until resentment starts to build, and I do have to wonder how well the Kingsguard will take this, and whether or not resentment will be built once they are effectively completely replaced.
Yeah, still better to have the bridgemen around.
Maybe, but I really am nervous about the plan. I think it's like a necessary thing. I think it is a good thing, especially since I kind of low-key think Bridge 4 will eventually all have surge-binding powers. But we'll see. But I am nervous. Kaladin is nervous, but he's like, okay, I can do this. And this is where they basically work out the plan to send the 1,000 men out to patrol against bandits. It should be a large enough force such that it will intimidate the bandits, so there shouldn't be much fighting, but it'll give the bridgemen confidence, and it'll free up the previous patrols, which are needed to fight on the Shattered Plains. So yeah, Kaladin is nervous, but there are some good plans for moving forward.
And he wants to help Dalinar.
Yep, and Kaladin is really wondering who Dalinar is. He's still uncertain.
But at the same time, he still wants to help him.
Exactly. Thus ends the chapter. Whew, that was a doozy.
Yeah, it was like 50 minutes in the audiobook.
Yep. I'm glad we were able to get in as much detail as we did, though. I don't know that I have much more else to say at the moment, other than I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm happy with the pacing. I'm just continuing with that line of thought. Is like, is it continuing to be exciting? Are things progressing? They are. So far, so good.
Agreed. Anything else to say, Kitty?
Like the video!
If you like, Kitty told you to, so you better do it. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to That Darn Kitta if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
Subscribe to this channel. You know it's great.
It would be greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.